Hi there, it's Dory again. Thank you for joining me in the next segment of Module 2. Today we're going to be discussing a program called Admin, also known as Magi Admin. Now this program is the back end of the McKissick.com website. What does that mean? So when a customer places an order or registers on the website, it will place the information into this program Admin. So the way that we're going to do this module today is pretty fun. I'm going to ask you here in a moment to go ahead and pause the video. What I'm going to have you do is open another tab. So it's very important with this program that you're not using the Google browser. Admin and Google don't play nicely together. So you really want to open a Mozilla Firefox, or if you have to, an Internet Explorer window or tab. All right, so what I'd like you to do when you get that open is if you have two computer screens that you're working with, go ahead and move that additional tab over to the other screen. Or if you're working with one computer screen, you can snap that tab over to one side and watch the video in another side. And if you're not familiar how to do that, I'll show you here. So I'm going to go ahead and open another tab here for you. Going to go to McKissick.com, which is a home website for the McKissick brand. This is actually our old website. Might as well get it in this video for nostalgia purposes because it has changed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this tab away from the one that had the video, and I'm going to drag it all the way over to one side and it snaps into place. And then the one with the video, I can do the same, snap it into place. So now we have side by side tabs. You can watch the video and follow along. So go ahead and pause now. You're going to go to this address right above me at admin.mckissick.com. So your window should actually look like this right now. It's our login screen for the admin.mckissick.com website. Your trainer, supervisor, manager, team lead, whoever is mentoring you in this process should have given you a login for username and password so you can get into this program. So if you need to pause and get that information, go ahead and do that now. All right, so I can type my information in. It is already saved in the system, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. It is case sensitive for the password, so just be careful with that one. You can also ask the system to go ahead and remember me. That way when you come back in, especially if you're using Mozilla Firefox, after you've been timed out, you can simply just have it enter that information for you. Makes it much quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and click the sign in button. Okay, so now we're on the admin. What we have here are quite a few different tabs. We're going to focus on one in this section, and that is our student tab. And there's many functions that we'll actually end up doing on the student tab, but what I'm going to focus on first is how to search for a customer. So you'll notice here on the left-hand side there's a search student box, and this we can use to search by first and last name. We also search by username, email, license number, and we can even drill down to a specific state. So there's a lot of different fields here, but there's only a certain few that we actually use or have used to us. So before we go searching for a customer here, let's talk about a professional license. Each state board holds information about that professional that you're talking to, and the information they have on file is most of the time their legal name. A lot of us nowadays go by a nickname. Mine is Dory. That is not actually my legal name. My legal name is Dorcella. So on my driver's license, on my passport, any legal documents, it's always Dorcella. If I had a professional license with the state, it would also be listed with that legal name. So when you're talking to that customer and they introduce themselves, they're going to introduce themselves with their nickname, the name they're most comfortable with, right? So if I called in, I would say, "Hi, my name is Dory Duckett." I'm not going to say, "Hi, my name is Dorcella Duckett." So that's something that you want to keep in mind, especially for those names like William, Bill, Richard, Rich. There's many out there. So you just want to be wary of the difference there. And that is super important when we are searching for that customer. So let's go ahead and start with one. I'm going to search for myself. So I'm just going to go ahead and type my nickname in here, and I'm going to go ahead and type my last name in here. I know that I'm in the system this way. So this is just how it looks when you do a normal search. Little tip here, don't use your enter button in this website. It doesn't have the same function that you think it will. Sometimes it takes away all the effort that you just put in searching for that customer or pulling up that information. So always use the buttons on the screen. So we're going to go ahead and click the search button here to bring up the results. And we're going to have a few results here because I've been testing with this brand for some time, and I've had to create some usernames over that period of time. All right, so let's look at the results. We have a few columns of information here, and there's many results. So each of these lines could be a different customer. What it definitely is a different registered user. All right, so let's think about that for a moment. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned if they have purchased on our website or have registered on our website, they'll be in this program. All right, so these are each individual registered accounts. You can tell that by the username, they're all different, okay? So let's start and look at the information here. We have a link, it's blue, it says view. So when we click that, we're going to see the specific information about that registered user account. We're not going to do that right now, we'll go into detail later in the training for that. The next column here is called an NS customer ID. And what that is a NetSuite internal customer ID. NetSuite is our main customer database. What this means is if there is a number in the field, then that customer has purchased with our company. If there is not a number in that field, that means they have registered only. And that's an important distinction when you're handling customer calls. The next section, last name, first name, middle initial. All very good information to have to narrow down to figure out which customer record is or belongs to the person on the phone. Next we have username, state, and electronic signature value. Now the electronic signature value is really only useful for the McKissick brand. So if you're here getting training to take calls for the McKissick brand, we'll talk about this electronic signature value a little bit later in the module. Now, what I'd like to talk about is a little trick. If you don't know if your customer is giving you the name that actually appears on their license or is the one that we have in our database, we have what we could use, we have what is called a wildcard that we can use, and that is our %. So if I know that their first name starts with D-O, and that could very well be the same initials or same letters that begin in their formal name or legal name, I can use that. So if Dorcella is in the system, or Dory, or maybe another version like Doris, it depends on what they go by. If I start with these two letters, I'm guaranteed I'm going to get some results back, and one of those results are going to be the customer record I'm looking for. So I'm going to leave it here, D-O, and then the % or wildcard, and the last name, and I'm going to click search. So here in a moment we're going to see those same results that we were just looking at, and there's going to be a couple of more that are going to show up. Aha! So here we go. We have come up with a Donna R, and we have come up with a Dorcella. Now, let's talk about the first two customer records here. It's very likely they're the same person and have registered on our website twice, having two different usernames. Looking here, they do have two different NetSuite accounts. We can tell that because each of these numbers are different. Same as below. We have Dorcella. They both have different usernames and they both have different customer IDs in NetSuite. And then we get into the Dories. There are a few of us. Actually, there's really only one. Moi. Here, you'll notice that the customer ID for these two accounts are identical. So we'll talk about that situation in another segment of our training. And then we have a couple here that are blank and another one with a completely different customer ID. So the blank ones, I know right away that customer is not purchased through the website yet. These other lines or line items or customers have. Alright, so let's try something different. We're going to do a John Smith. Go ahead and click search. And we're going to get a long list. It's not as long as I thought it would be, actually. But what we're dealing with here is far too much information to quickly locate the customer account that belongs to the customer that's on the phone with us. So it would be better if we narrowed this down. I can do that by state to make it shorten the list quite a bit, and then I can determine pull that name from a much shorter list. So let's say our customer is in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to select the state, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to go ahead and click search again, and we're going to narrow this list down quite a bit. Okay, so we have our results here for John Smith in Pennsylvania. We took that long list and we've got it down to 3 different records, and I can see those are 3 different records because they have 3 different NetSuite customer IDs. And I also see one has a middle initial M, one has a middle initial H, so we can also narrow it down that way. And then there's a customer here with no middle initial in the field. However, I do see there's a W here in his username, so I can make the assumption that's very likely his middle initial as well. Alright, so I've showed you how to look for a customer using the %sign, looking for their name, and also narrowing down by state. If you're still struggling to find that customer account, another very great piece of information that you can locate an account with is a customer license number. A customer license number is specific to that individual. Nobody else in that state and profession will have a license like that number. It'll be one number off or possibly different letters. So if I do not have a customer name that I'm able to find, what I can do is come down to the license number section. Now it's important to put the % in first, because a lot of times these professional license numbers will start with numerous zeros or possibly letters, and the customer isn't giving you that information because they don't realize it's pertinent to what we're trying to do here. I'm going to go ahead and put in the license number the customer gives me, and I'm going to end it with another % in case there's an extra 0 or 1 at the end that they didn't give me. And I'm going to go ahead and click search. So we're going to see some results here in just a moment of license numbers that have those 6-digit numbers in the middle. And wow, there's quite a few. I'm pretty surprised. Easy number to remember for these customers. Now, oh, and look, even I have that license number on file. How funny. Okay, so with that, in fact, we'll just leave it at that. I would say the Story Ducket is the customer that I'm looking for, and I can go ahead and get into the account and also open up that NetSuite account. So those are a couple of tips and tricks on how to search for customers with the information provided. Now, you're going to have a worksheet of names that you can practice looking up. Attempt to look them up in different ways. Think about how the customer may give you that name and just play around and get comfortable with searching for those students. And then when you're done, come on back to the next module or the next section of this module, and we'll get started on what this view is all about. Thank you, and I'll see you here in just a few minutes.